Michael Meehan, President and CEO of Squared Communications and former Chief of Staff for Senator Cantwell, and Alexandra Smith with America Rising. Thank you for joining us. Just an update here. We're waiting for the final tally, but it is clear that the Republicans have the votes to pass historic tax reform, and that will happen in just any minute now. So we will bring that to you live. But Michael, let me go to you. This moment for Democrats. Do you think it's as bad as Nancy Pelosi said today on the floor? She said this is the worst bill to ever come to the floor of the House.
Well, I mean, that may be a hyperbole, but clearly Obamacare, when it was passed in 2010, was 10 points more popular with the American people than this bill is today. So Republicans have taken their unified government and put all their marbles on the table for a bill that's 10 points less popular than Obamacare was. And Obamacare was always a net negative popularity for 8 years. And so it's sort of the politics of this are strange because it's clear that the American people have no interest in this. This is a big giveaway for corporations. It's a big giveaway. The proof will be in the pudding about whether people ever feel this in the middle class. But clearly the Republicans have put all their chips on the table and decided to give all the money to the corporations.
Well, it has been interesting, Alex, if I could ask you about this, because all the stats say that people feel like the economy is better. Their confidence as a consumer has improved, but the president's approval rating does hover still around between 35 and 40%, however you look at it. So maybe that doesn't matter politically necessarily, but what do you hear from Republicans, especially younger Republicans? I know you used to be the president of the college Republicans, about how they feel about this type of an accomplishment by the Republicans in Congress.
I think people are excited, and I think that, we're all disagree with.
Alex, could I have you hold a moment? We're listening to Speaker Paul Ryan, who just announced that tax reform has passed the House, the U.S. House of Representatives. And Dan Henninger.
Finished business is on the vote of the gentleman from Florida, Mr. Dunn, to suspend the rules and pass H.R. 4323 as amended, on which the ayes and nays are ordered. The clerk will report the title of the bill.
H.R. 4323, a bill to promote veteran involvement in STEM education, computer science, and scientific research, and further purposes.
The question is, will the House suspend the rules and pass the bill as amended? Members will record their votes by electronic device. This is a 5-minute vote.
And Dan Henninger, you see Speaker Paul Ryan there banging the gavel. Alex, let you finish give you a chance to answer the question that I posed earlier. It's about how the politics and approval ratings of both this bill and of the administration and of the Republican Party don't match up with how people are feeling about the economy, which is quite good.
Well, look, I think that you have to look to what the effects of this policy will be, which is that it will be more money in the wallets of the American people. I think whether you look at the increased standard deduction for individuals and for married couples, if you look at the expanded child care tax credits, there's something in this bill for everyone. And, the old saying goes that people vote with their wallets. So in 2018, I think that we might see, the fortunes start to turn on some of these approval ratings based on what people will be seeing, not just in their wallets, but really over the last year in their 401ks and other sectors of the economy.
Michael, just before you came on, Dan was talking about the possibility that you had some Senate Democrats, more moderate ones, like Manchin or Heitkamp, who are going to vote no tonight in the Senate, and that they might live to regret that if the economics pan out and people start thinking, well, the Republicans might have a better idea. Do you think that's a concern?
Well, long before this tax vote passed, the stock market was at record high. So the whole idea that the thesis is we need to pass this to keep the stock market moving, it's already had a record year or close to a record year. So some of that doesn't make a lot of sense. I do think that there will be accountability. I mean, the largest margin of people want the Democrats to be in control of Congress, 50-39 in an NBC poll. The young people you were just talking about, 69% want to be Democrats. I've been in town a long time. That is an insane number. There's no way that many people under 35 should want to be Democrats. None. But here we are, because here's where the circumstance is. It's a 48-point margin. That's insane. You never see that.
Alex, what do you think about that in terms of younger people and how they're feeling about the parties?
Well, look, I think it's important to note that actually in 2016 that President Trump garnered more of the millennial support than did Romney or McCain. So there was something a little bit different about 2016 for millennials. And, you know, something to put my old hat back on for a second, I've always said that Republicans need to do a better job with reaching out to younger Americans. And I think that through tax reform, through more money in their pockets, that will be a demonstration of conservative principles and of what we're able to accomplish as a party. So, I mean, I think that, you know, our problem with the with younger people has not been one of substance, but rather one of messaging.
All right, Michael and Alex, if you could stand by, I want to ask Dan Henninger about what does it mean for a party to have been so beleaguered for 11 months? They finally get to this point where they have a major legislative accomplishment. And even in Statuary Hall, we see the members talking to Peter Doocy, and they're excited, and they're like, we're united. And it's like President Trump has been like the head coach for capitalism. What does that mean going into the next year legislatively? Will they be able to get more done having seen what it's like when they work together, or could the opposite be true?
I would be amazed if the opposite were true, though in Washington these days you never know. I mean, they should have enjoyed what just happened to them. And you know what, Daniel, let's just sort of, if I may, as a member of the political class, say something. We should enjoy what's going on here right now. Most politics, you know, is just grinding through things day by day. This is a huge, dramatic event on the floor of the House. All of this cheering. Tax Act of 2017 is a big deal. It's like watching a movie, and it doesn't happen very often in Washington anymore. Obamacare certainly was an example, and now we have this. And I think the Republicans should probably get swept up in this. You're going to have the same vote in the Senate tonight. They're going to go to the president's desk. He'll be sitting there in the Oval Office, surrounded by people, signing a major tax reform. And I think a lot of these Republicans who've been fighting on the margins over the past 11 months are going to decide, I'd rather be on, as you say, Team Trump's winning side rather than standing outside carping about it all the time.
We're looking there at a live look at the Capitol. We expect House Republican leaders to come to the podium, and we will bring that to you live. In the meantime, Michael, what do you think the Democrats' play will be going forward as they head to this big fight about end-of-year spending?
Well, I mean, clearly healthcare is at the top of the agenda.
Michael, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to hold you there. I apologize. Big breaking news hour. Sarah Sanders at the White House.